What's happening, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. So for my previous video, you guys saw me doing a lot of testing on the BLUEGHOZT Lite and the Plus, and as I showed you guys, you can actually use the Plus where you can connect however you want to manipulate the data for your addressable LEDs to work. You can, and then on top of it have a dedicated, on the other 6 ports, have a dedicated power and ground, and use the other 4 remaining ports as switches. So that's exactly what I'm doing today. As you can see, I had eliminated a lot of wiring. This is in the back in my trunk right here. I'm just neatening everything up and I'm eliminating a lot of wires. So the switches I'm talking about, these like the World Breaker logo, Puny Human, I'm Always Angry, things like that, they run on 12 volts. So what I'm doing here is, this wire is the power and ground to power the BLUEGHOZT, okay? And this is a dedicated power source running from one of my junction points. This is a dedicated ground. And the other 4 switch ports here, all you're doing is, it doesn't matter where you ground it, but you're connecting the power source to one of those terminals. And once you can, now I'll put it on trigger and I'll show you what I mean. Once I trigger my show mode, and what I'm connecting to this BLUEGHOZT are my speaker rings. My speaker rings, I'll put something up on the side. My speaker rings are addressable LEDs, and the sequence for those are actually RGB. So like you guys previously saw, my wheel rings and my underglow, the sequence of those are BRG. So I know a lot of people, they're not going to understand, but to fully understand how certain things work and to have them sync up and whatnot, if you get your color sequences right, everything would look flawless. So the only thing also, by the way, these pods back here are also addressable LEDs, but I'm not gonna mess with those right now because I'm gonna have to dismantle a lot of stuff just to get to the wiring, and it's a pain in the ass. So I will probably do that at a later time. And I think the color sequence for this, I think it's BRG. So like, let's say this is BRG and this is RGB. If I hit blue, like a solid color, and it turns blue, that'll probably turn green or red. You get what I'm saying? So it all depends. If you care about syncing things up perfectly, then that'll bother you. If you really don't, either way, it's gonna look freaking sick. Because when I do interstellar, like on my taillights and on my wheel rings, on my underglow, on my headlights, my speakers are gonna do the same thing. Because remember, as I showed you before in the previous video, you can control all your ghosts at once and tell the car to do whatever you need. So I'll be doing, so that ghost that you see right there, the Plus, I'm gonna be running my speaker rings off of it and using it as a trigger to trigger these logos here. And then the other lights, like these that were on the LED Hue app, these BTF lighting strips, even that stuff around my surge tanks, these small rings over here, okay? Those are 5 volts, and those are gonna be controlled from my BLUEGHOZT Lite. So I'm gonna be using one, so that's what I'm saying, I'm separating all my voltages. One of my ghosts is gonna control things for 12 volts. The other one is gonna control certain accessories with 5 volts. And that's how I wanna run it, because I'm telling you, once you start doing things, like if something breaks and you mix up voltages and you connect the wrong thing, I'm telling you, you're gonna blow something out. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. So now, as you see right here, so what is happening here now is that let me see, where is it? Oh, it's on the other side of the battery. So my speaker rings are gonna go over here where the power, ground, and data is, okay? So I have my standalone 12-volt connection. That's to power this side of the module. So the standalone 12-volt connection is to power those 6 ports, okay? So I have my big power and ground right here, my 16 gauge wire right here. That is to power the Blue Ghost. The other terminals are for like parking brake, reverse, things like that. I'm not messing with that. Okay. So power and ground over here on the right side on the bottom. Okay, that'll give that part of the switchboard power. And then all you're running to one of those 4 ports, each one of the 4 ports, you can use one or all of them, depending on what you want to operate as a switch. Okay, so you run a power wire right there, and you can ground it either. You could probably just tap into this ground right here to ground whatever. So I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so really quick, I just jumped from the junction boxes right here, power and ground. That's running to power. That's powering the Blue Ghost. Okay, and this one here is the ground. Obviously, you can see the Blue Ghost blinking. Okay, and as I told you before, I have this sole wire running from that junction box with an inline fuse that powers this side of the circuit, the last 6 ports. Okay, and then I have a ground running from the junction box, and this wire right here, this runs to this plug right here. Okay, and the ground for it, I tapped into the ground that's coming to the Blue Ghost. Okay, so now let me show you real quick. So now how I did this, when you go into the lightning bolt feature, okay, you come to this right here. You have switch number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so it all depends on how you want your switches to go. So you have it, normally it's on basic. Okay, normally it's on basic. I put it on trigger. So now when you trigger, you can have it set to either turn signal. So I will deselect those, and I'm just gonna leave it on party mode, which means once I click one of these party modes right here, the switch, see how they came to the front of the screen? You're gonna see voltage to it. So watch, I'm gonna hit popcorn, and you're gonna see the voltage jump up. Actually, you'll see the amperage jump up. It's running at like 0.3 to 0.4 amps, somewhere around there. So now, watch this. I'm gonna hit one of the show modes, and when I hit the show mode, guess what's gonna happen? The logos are gonna turn on. Not all of them are not connected, so bam. See it? So now I don't need this app. This is the Duoco Strip app right here. I don't need that app to run it. I actually could do it, look, because if I click it on, it'll turn on and off. But now I could run everything from my Blue Ghost right here, and I don't need to worry about it. So once I hit party, everything is gonna turn on, and I don't have to worry about the Duoco Strip app, because at shows there's so many people, everybody's using an app. There's a lot of interference, and sometimes you can't get in touch with whatever accessory you're using. All right, so that works. I'll be back soon. All right, guys, we're gonna try to go over this as concise as possible and precise where you can understand. Okay, now I know it looks messy. Don't worry about all these wires for my amp and stuff like that, but I know it looks messy, and I'll put up a screen recording on the side, so I'll show you what I'm doing at the same time. So now, obviously, this ground right here, it's running here for the main ground. Okay, the power wire, I put a switch on it, and it's fully connected to that junction box. Okay, it's fully connected. So now if I hit the switch, watch. Okay, so now we got power. Okay, so that's the first piece of it. Now we need a full power and ground, okay, for this side of the box right here that controls the switches. So I got my power wire right here. It's running directly into the junction box, and it has an inline fuse on it just in case. Okay, the inline fuse is just like a couple amps. And also these switches only take like 0.2, 0.3 amps, so believe me, a couple amps is all you need for the accessories that I have. Now, the ground, okay, I have the ground connected all the way into the junction box. All right, now, so now this wire right here, that one right there, that's the first switch. This wire is running to this black controller right here. Okay, that power is running to the black controller, and the ground for it, let's backtrack a little bit. Backtrack. It's tapped in right here. So the grounds, okay, all you need is power in here. The grounds, I tapped into the ground that's in the junction box. You could tap it into the ground as many times as you want. As long as it's a ground, it's gonna work. Okay? Now, let's see, where are we? Yes. So now, the second wire, or the second switch, is right here. Okay, this is the power wire right here, and it's running into this white controller. Okay, and the ground for it is right here, as you've seen. So all you need, as I said, is the power wire right here, and we're straight. So let's see if this bad boy works. Let's go to the trunk. Now, as I told you before, what you want to do, you hit the lightning icon. So normally this one, it'll start off as basic. Okay, they all start off as basic. Now, what you got to do, you go to triggered. Now, when it's on triggered, you're gonna have left turn, right turn, headlights, brake, reverse, and party mode. So deselect all of them except for the party mode. And down here, there's a button to the bottom right here. It says add to home. Now you have the voltage right here. We got 12 volts, so the battery, we're good. And actually, I don't have my front battery connected. I actually disconnected it. But let's go to the home page. Now, once we're at home, all the switches appear up top. So now that everything is connected, we have the switches up top. Once I click on the party mode, you should be able to see number 1 and number 2 light up purple. So you ready? Let's do it. So you see number 1 drawing about 0.4 amps tops, 3 to 4, and switch number 2, same thing. Actually, switch number 2 is drawing a little bit less because it only has 2 accessories on it. Switch number 1 has 3 logos on it, but these things, they pull so little, you know what I'm saying? But as you can see, and also this one up here lights up as well. Okay, so it's 5 logos all together, and it works. So now we're seeing up to the top. That's what I'm trying to show you. Up to the top, you see your switches right here. So let's go to the lightning icon again. I'll name this one here World Breaker. Just to know that which ones I'm controlling. The ghost module is gonna restart. Let's click on it. It's optional if you want to put a pin or not, guys, just as a heads up. So now once I shut the party mode off, it's off. So I'm going to put this back to triggered, deselect everything besides the party mode. Okay, let's go back to add to home, go back to the home screen. Starfall. And everything works. So you see the amperage draw and you see everything. But now we have the ghost controller controlling pretty much everything. Oops, that's a little dirty. Okay, so it's not too shabby. Man, addressable LEDs are freaking awesome. Look at that. And your switches are going at the same time. So as I said, one-stop shop for all your needs, pretty much. All right, so now I gotta wire in the other set of LEDs. That's all the rings that you see, the 5 rings, and all of these wires right here. Gotta wire all of those bad boys in. All right, stay tuned.
All right guys, so pretty much simple. This is how it gets wired up. So this here is going to be connected directly to your 12-volt source. Goes in, obviously you trim the wire, then clamp down on it. Goes into the reducer as 12 volts, comes out as 5, goes into the BLUEGHOZT. Get it? Now, some good tips to prevent any type of voltage drop, because remember, this is 5 volts. A lot of guys, like they might put this setup all the way to the front and then run the 5 volts from the front all the way to the back. You're gonna have serious voltage drop, so just don't do that, if you get what I'm saying. Run the 12 volts, let's say if you run it all the way to the back, and then do your connections towards the back if your accessories are in the trunk. So now I put taps right here. I'm gonna tap right into the 12-volt source. Guys, make sure before you tap into any wires, make sure disconnect your battery and stuff like that so you don't short anything. Just, you know, be aware of that, and that's it. So I'm going to be tapping into a power and a ground source. All right guys, so I took the wire that goes into the reducer, tapped it right here where the switch is, so when I shut the switch off for that ghost, this one powers down as well. All right, so I have a kill switch for both. Let's turn it back on. And then I tapped in the ground wire. I tapped into right here. Real simple. So I got power. Guys, I would urge you, get yourself, obviously you have like test lights and stuff like that. Get yourself one of these. I'll put it in the description. Look at this. So now remember, as I said, we're going in as 12 and coming out as 5. So when I touch this, I put the other terminal on the ground right here, the other lead. When I touch this thing better say 5 volts, otherwise you're gonna blow out all your LEDs. So right here, touch, bam, 5 volts. That's what you want. And that shit is freaking accurate. Holy shit. It's a really, really good reducer. I'm definitely putting that in the description so you guys can pick that up, okay? All right guys, so this is a quick screen recording. I just want to show you. So now I loaded the Ghost up on the app. So this is the one right here. And just remember a way to try to figure this out. So most of this lighting in here, it's BTF lighting. And if you go into your settings, notice it actually starts off with the LED type. I think it's either RGB or BRG or whatever. But this is actually RGBW, but not quite, okay? It's GRBW, and I'll show you again from the last video. So I'm gonna highlight GRBW. And how you know is, what you do is you hit solid, okay? Now notice only a couple of LEDs are lighting up, okay? You go into settings and start deleting the colors up here, 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 and here, until you're left with red. And how you know this is the right set of colors, you want to hit red for RGBW, R, G, B, okay? So that's when you know it's the right cadence of colors. The reason why is, if this was on BRG and you go back into solid, notice the funky colors it has. So if I hit green, it's not green. If I hit red, it's not red. If I hit blue, it's not blue. Okay? So just be aware of that. So it's GRBW. Let's go back in here. Just blue, green, red. Now, also,
if you leave it on, if you go into settings and you leave it on 3 colors and not GRBW, you're gonna have to go into these building blocks. This is where you have to put your LEDs, okay? So it's either the left or the right channel. You got to figure that out. So I think this is the left channel. So let's go into solid, okay, and go into the building blocks. If I click add, okay, so it's not, so I think it's the right channel then. Yep, it's the right channel. So I had it set at 40. Now notice as I click, as I'm adding, you'll see the LEDs over here start to populate more and more. So now, because it's on GRBW, I'll end up adding less. If it was on 3 colors, I would actually have to add more, and which means I'm like literally cheating myself, okay? Because one channel can handle up to about 350 of the RGBW. So just keep that in mind. All right, so then what I want to do is I'm going to click on the number, and let's say, let me add 100, hit done. So now it's filling up the whole set. Let's add 200. Done. It's filling up more. Oh yeah, this can only go up to 250. And actually, I do think I have a problem with this strip, to tell you the truth. So I'm gonna have to swap that out. I remember this strip was actually giving me a problem, so I'll swap it out for a new one real quick. So guys, never mind that, scratch that. So what happened was, remember I had one line running from the BLUEGHOST to try to connect all of these like daisy chain? Yeah, that's not a good idea. So what I did instead was I used I have a splitter. So what I did was you use this and you split the signal evenly, okay, into 3, okay? So now what I did was, let me show you. I'm gonna do a quick screen recording so at least you could see that. So now I'm on the screen and it's on the right channel, okay? And what I did was I ended up adding 3 sections, okay? So let's say you deleted a section. You normally have 1 section, okay? So let's say we put it on, let's say solid, okay? Only a little bit lights up, okay? So the more sections I have, 3 splitters, or actually 1 splitter but 3 lines running to it, I broke it up into 3. So you go back, go to the right, and add another section, and then add another section. And now what you do is you increase the number in each section. So I'm gonna do, since the top is 50, I'll do another 50 here, and it's almost filled up. That's almost filled up. And let me see, I got 30 here so far. Let's start adding and let's see what happens. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So about 45 extra, okay? So in case I'm missing any, I'm gonna put it at an even 50 at the bottom. So I have all the sections, oh, and guys, you can deselect all of the other stuff. You want it in party mode. Okay, so now, and make sure the offset, you don't have to offset anything. You could play around with that if you like, okay? But now you can actually move some in the opposite direction, you know what I mean? But just make sure your party mode is on. So now, once you have everything done, check this out. Looks sick, right? Now check out waves. So now everything is filled up evenly and there's no flickering. That's why that strip was flickering before, because it was too much on one line. And that slipped my mind, so my bad, guys. Now, guess what? Remember, I got 2 BLUEGHOST powered on. So now what I can do is, this is the other one here that ends in E4. upper left-hand corner, I can click multicast. Let me stop this. Now watch what's gonna happen. Starfall. Everything is running. How you like that? Interstellar. Yo, that looks sick. Not too shabby. So there you have it, guys. Definitely like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think, okay? And I'll obviously, let me pack everything up. Let me put everything away neatly, and then I'll show you the finished product when the trunk doesn't look so disgusting. All right? Hey fam, what's happening? So it's a week later, and I have to go over the ending of 2 videos because I end up doing a video within this video as well. So I remember I actually said, you know, once I clean up the trunk, I'll come back and I'll show you guys a couple things, you know, with the lighting inside of the trunk, how it looks. And I also did another video where I installed this freaking dope ass side emitting strip from Lighting Trends. So now, like, when the trunk is down, this thing can function, fully function as a running light, as a brake light, as a turn signal, and also a show mode. Okay, I hooked this thing up, installed it really nice. Look at that artwork right there, boy. You know what I'm saying? Your boy is nice. But I have to go over that video right after I finish this one. But I end up having to get another Ghost because, and I have to do the same, I have to talk about the same thing for the other video as well, and I'll tell you why. So what was happening was, these rope lights, the rings, okay, those are 5 volts. The BTF light, or the SK6812s here, and this lit logos are also 5 volts. But here's the problem. If I were to turn those lights on, because I think I did go over this stuff in the wing strip video, but I don't know if I did it in this one. I can't remember because, you know, I mean, I'm just freaking tired. But what happens is this: if I turn this on, okay, and let's click on, let's say, so I have the BTF rings and the wing strip. So if I turn this on solid, okay, the reason why, so I have it on solid red right now, and if you go into settings, it's GRB, okay? That's the color sequence of these lights. Also, the wing strip as well is GRB. So if I go into solid and I clicked on green, it'll turn green. Okay, let's go into settings real quick. I'm gonna click on green, and guess what? It freaking turned green. See that? Green. Green. But here's the problem. Remember, I had the BTF stuff connected to this as well, and the lit logos. And you know what would happen? It would turn all different colors. All different colors, because it's confused, because this is supposed to be RGBW, but the actual sequence is GRBW. Okay? So now I had to connect up another Ghost, okay? And now, once I connect up that Ghost, guess what? Look at that. See that? Let me lower the exposure up. So now that the exposure is a little bit lower, at least it's not gonna hurt your eyes too much. So I added some extra strips and stuff like that. But guess what? The SK6812s, or the BTF lighting strips, and even the lit logos, and now everything is in unison. You understand what I'm saying? The ring lights, I mean the speaker rings, those are actually RGB. Okay, so as I said, so the speaker rings are on 1. Okay, let me go into that real quick. So the speaker rings are, let me show you, solid. So if I go into solid, I'm gonna go into, let's go into waves real quick. So that's the waves with the speaker rings, okay? Now, let me turn off the rest of, actually, I'll show you. So now, with this stuff here, with the speaker rings, I actually ran 3 switches. There's 2 atomic on one switch and 3 on the other. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? Now these are triggered. So I actually put it on triggered. So when I hit the party mode, see, party mode is highlighted. When I hit party mode, or like say solid or anything else, look, I'll show you. Let me multicast this real quick.
So I will put it on Starfall. So now everything is running right here. Tail lights, wing strip, everything is running beautifully, okay? So now, if you notice at the top over here, these two switches are triggered, and my trunk stars, there's actually trunk stars right here. But I put that on basic so I can control it. So if there's nobody at a show coming around my car, I'm not gonna run that trunk driver because it pulls a lot of amps. Well, a decent amount, not too much, but you know what I'm saying? So I could just click on it and bam. You got on-demand star lighting without having to use the remotes. So pretty much the Ghost is your one-stop shop for pretty much every single thing. Okay? So I just wanted to go over that. So that's why knowing your color sequences can be very, very helpful and important and make your lights really come to life and like in unison. You know what I'm saying? It really, really helps. Also now, I did something else. The BTF trunk lights, these SK6812s, that's on those are 5 volts, but it's on a Ghost Plus. So what I did was, I actually ran another switch right here. This trunk emblem that I put out this video last week, guess what? When I click on it right here, it's on switch number 4. I'm gonna click on it, and we got action right here. So I can control it if I want to. It's not triggered, okay? So when I put it on party mode, it's not gonna turn on unless I manually click it and turn it on. You get what I'm saying? So I can turn it off just like that. So you really can't beat that, man. It's freaking sick. It's freaking sick. So guys, you know what to do. Definitely like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. And hopefully, you know, I mean, you find this video helpful. Now I got to go over the video for the wing strip next. But as you can see, the colors matter. So as I said, so these rope lights and those small ring lights, the color sequence is GRB, okay? The SK6812 and the lit logos right here, that's GRBW. These speaker rings are RGB. So that's why I have, so all total, I have about, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 Ghost controllers in this car. But I can make them all work together in unison. All right, so guys, once again, definitely like, subscribe, comment. Hopefully this helped, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take it easy.